Good morning, everyone. This is Edwin Lopez, your farmer's agent here in Maryland. Continuing our discussion from yesterday, today we're going to continue on the auto product from Maryland. Yesterday we discussed the bodily injury property damage limits, how they apply to you, the uninsured motorist, and the PIP. Today we're going to get into the second part of that, which are all the options. So again, to refresh, in Maryland the standard contract is liability coverage for your auto insurance. On top of that, there are options, of which people like to refer to as full coverage. But be careful with that, like I said yesterday, because if you carry collision and comp, which we'll get into in a second here, technically you have full coverage, but there's other options that you may think come along with those that do not. So the first would be comprehensive. Comprehensive is coverage that cover things that are not accident related. Things like theft, vandalism, you hit a deer, someone steals your car. Those are all types of comprehensive claims. And in general, comprehensive coverage is pretty inexpensive, so you don't really need to carry a large deductible to save money if that's what you're looking to do. You can afford to have a lower deductible comprehensive. Then you have, on top of comprehensive, you have collision. Collision, simply put, is when you strike another vehicle and you're at fault. The other car is covered by your liability coverage, but the collision coverage is what covers your own vehicle, minus your deductible. Okay, and in that situation, you can have a higher deductible to save some money. Most people choose $500, but I have some that have $1,500, $2,000 deductibles, and they're okay with that. Next, after that, would be towing and labor. Now, towing and labor, if you have a new car, it may not be that big a deal, but if you have a slightly older car, towing and labor can come in handy if you're stuck on the road 50 miles from home. And towing and labor gives you coverage to tow your vehicle to the closest repair shop or your repair shop up to a certain amount. In our case, it's $125. Okay, so you call, you make a claim, and the towing and labor, whether it be for towing, whether it be for battery recharge, tire replacement, tire change, etc., is covered up to $125. Okay. The rental reimbursement, that comes into play when you're at fault for the accident. The other person they're taking care of, that has nothing to do with them. But in this case, while your car is repaired, if it needs to be at a shop, we give you money to rent a vehicle, and in most cases we'll set up the rental as well. It's important to have because, you know, a lot of times, even though you may have two cars in your household, it may confuse schedules like crazy, which then makes everything harder. And you don't, when it's time to report a claim and go through that process, you really kind of want it to go as easy as possible. All right. Now, most people think that rental reimbursement means when they go use a rental car, when they go get a rental car on their own for vacation, that it covers that coverage. But no, that's not it. Your basic liability policy will transfer over, and if you carry collision, it'll transfer over as well. You're going to want to carry collision if you're going to rent a car. So make sure when you go rent a car that you give them the car that's covered with, you know, collision and comprehensive on the policy as the car you've been driving. The last subject I want to talk about in terms of the contract, there's a bunch of different options, and all companies have different options, but there's one that we carry that a lot don't, or maybe they do and they don't sell it as much. It's called OEM, which is Original Equipment Manufacturers. Now, many know, many don't know, that when you get into an accident and you take your car in, most insurance companies will just use used parts or aftermarket parts. Now, that's an industry standard. I don't want to say that that's not, you know, that only certain companies do that. That is industry standard. That's how they try to cut costs as much as they can in terms of claims. You can choose, in our policy at least, you can choose to have the OEM endorsement, which means we will use original equipment manufacturer products and new products that we get from the original manufacturers in the repairs of your vehicles. Important to know, it's a big deal for a lot. Some people, maybe they don't think about it as much, but there are people out there that strictly want their original parts back on their car. Anyway, if you have any questions, post them down below. Hit a like if you thought this was valuable. Share with your friends and family. I appreciate your time. See you later. Bye-bye.